While taking a smoke break outside, she looked up and witnessed something unbelievable. A fleet of aircraft cutting across the sky in an eerie, synchronized formation. She pointed it out to her friend, who brushed it off without a second thought. Then, in the very next moment, a car crash erupted right behind her. She rushed over to check on the driver, only to find him completely unconscious. She turned to her friend Helen for help, but the driver suddenly went into violent convulsions. She looked back at Helen in horror, and Helen had started seizing too. She reached for her phone to call 911, but it slipped and shattered on the ground. Remembering there were people inside the bar, she spun around and ran in to get help, only to be stopped cold by what she saw. Every single person in the bar was convulsing and collapsing to the floor like zombies. Panicked and terrified, she spotted a phone. After a desperate struggle to get through to emergency services, all she heard on the other end was a cold, automated machine response.
You've reached the Albuquerque Police emergency number. Please remain on the line. An operator will be with.
She bolted back outside, dragged over a bar sign to use as a makeshift stretcher, and secured Helen onto it. But her car had an alcohol interlock device, and she'd been drinking.
Fuck you!
Then she remembered the car from the crash. She muscled the unconscious driver into the passenger seat, loaded Helen in. And floored it down the road. In the distance, she spotted flashing police lights, but the cruiser had flipped over, and the officers were in the same condition as everyone else. Looking further out, the entire city was engulfed in flames. Whatever this crisis was, it had fully unleashed itself. She drove toward the hospital, clinging to hope, but the hospital had fallen too. Every patient showed the same symptoms, and even the doctors had been hit. She pulled herself together and grabbed a gurney to begin emergency care. That's when Helen seemed to come around, but a second later, Helen stopped breathing. She threw herself into CPR, desperately pumping away, but it seemed like it was already too late. Before she even had a chance to process the grief, she looked up to find that everyone in the hospital appeared to be back to normal, including the driver from the passenger seat. People were calmly walking out as if nothing had happened. She cautiously called out to one of the doctors. Every single person turned around at the exact same moment.
What is happening?
The doctor furrowed his brow and studied her, then, out of nowhere, kissed her. She stumbled back a few steps in shock. When she turned around, a group of people was already handling Helen's body.
Hey, don't you touch her! You put her down! Put her down! Get out! Go away! What the hell is wrong with you people? We just want to help, Carol.
Everyone had the same blank stare, spoke in the same flat tone, and the atmosphere was deeply unsettling. Carol sensed something was deeply wrong and sprinted back to her car to get away. The night had been so surreal that she found herself wondering if she was trapped in a nightmare. At one point, Carol thought she spotted a group of normal people, but the moment she pulled over, they all turned and looked at her with those same hollow eyes. She had no choice but to keep running. Behind her, people were already repairing the city, but to Carol, their very existence felt like the most disturbing thing of all. She finally made it back to her front door, only to realize her keys were gone. She picked up a rock, ready to smash her way in, when two children suddenly appeared and started walking toward her.
There's a spare key. We can show you.
No, stop! Don't come any closer.
We don't mean to scare you, Carol. You're in no danger.
We really do want to help. You put a spare key under the flower pot. The one on the right. Back there.
She had no idea how they knew where she lived, but she didn't have the bandwidth to figure that out right now. She just needed to be alone. The kids left, and as she traced the path they'd come from, a chill ran down her spine. Every neighbor on the block had stepped out of their home and was slowly converging on her house.
We're very sorry for your loss.
Scared out of her mind, Carol dragged Helen inside and barricaded every window she could find. She climbed up to peek through one of them. First, she watched the neighbors all drive away, then a pickup truck rolled up. The last neighbor was loaded into the truck bed, which was already packed with bodies lying face down. The driver looked directly in Carol's direction and waved. It hit her then. These people had probably died the same way Helen did, during whatever that mass seizure event was. She turned on the TV, desperately searching for answers, but channel after channel showed nothing but static. Finally, she landed on an official broadcast, but the person on screen just stood there smiling, saying absolutely nothing. The scrolling text at the bottom seemed to be speaking to her directly. Carol hesitated, steeling her nerves with long pulls from a bottle, then finally made the call.
Hi, Carol. Thank you for calling.
Yep.
This must be so bewildering for you, so terrible. All the death and destruction you witnessed tonight, especially Helen's passing. Please know, none of that was intentional. You have our deepest condolences. And to say it again, you are in no danger. You are perfectly safe.
Okay.
Your life is your own. Please know that. If we can help you in any way, please let us know. We can deliver food, medicine, whatever you need. Just dial 0, day or night. You will want to call from a landline, as all the cellular networks are down. But we are here for you. We feel like we're doing all the talking here. Are there any questions you might have for us, Carol? Anything at all?
All the questions tearing her apart inside could finally pour out, and the voice on the other end of the TV had answers. 14 months earlier, astronomers had picked up a radio signal from 600 light-years away. It repeated a sequence of 4 tones, each representing a nucleotide, uracil, adenine, and cytosine. It was essentially a blueprint for an RNA sequence. Scientists were initially over the moon, pouring enormous resources into synthesizing the genetic sequence. Secret biochemical experiments were carried out on lab mice at the U.S. Army Medical Research Institute of Infectious Diseases. Then one night, 2 researchers noticed one of the mice had gone completely still. Assuming it had simply died, they took the risk of removing their thick protective gloves to check for a heartbeat.
You got a heartbeat? Can't feel jack shit in these gloves. Huh. Huh, what? He's absolutely got a heartbeat. Strong one, just bam, bam, bam. It's weird. If I didn't know any better, I'd... Oh, God! Oh, shit! Oh, no.
One researcher accidentally got bitten, breaking the skin, and frantically ran to disinfect the wound. The other chased after the mouse, which had bolted. When he turned back, he found his colleague frozen in place, her whole body shaking violently. He dragged her out of the lab immediately.
Getting out right now. I got you. Okay, come on. Come on. You're gonna be all right.
The convulsions peaked, and then she suddenly snapped back to normal, as if nothing had happened. Not long after, the bitten researcher approached a soldier near a vending machine on the base and kissed him without any warning. The soldier immediately began convulsing while she smiled like she'd just gotten away with something. The other researcher found the base janitor and did the same thing. One kiss, and the old man showed symptoms instantly. Within a shockingly short time, the strange condition had swept through the entire base. Everyone walked into the laboratory wearing blank smiles, moving in perfect unison without any instructions, picking up swabs and petri dishes, collecting saliva samples from one another with terrifying coordination. And things got even darker from there. The original researcher walked over to the shared snack box and licked every single piece of bread inside. That same night, they flew fighter jets across the skies and dispersed the virus worldwide. Nearly all of humanity was infected, though a small number, like Carol, proved to be immune. She pressed on, asking why everyone now referred to themselves as we instead of I. The voice on the TV explained that this RNA sequence, though it originated from another planet, wasn't alien life in any traditional sense. It was more like a virus, but not quite. It was better described as a kind of mental adhesive that had fused everyone's consciousness together. So right now, she was essentially talking to every person on Earth at once. The person on TV was just a physical representative, not a decision maker. There were no more leaders. Every decision was made collectively by everyone. Carol asked how many people on Earth were still like her, still uninfected.
There appear to be 11 other individuals like yourself.
They had already been in contact with all the immune individuals.
Rest assured, Carol, we will figure out what makes you different.
Figure it out. Why?
So we can fix it. So you can join us.
That sent a chill down her spine. She, a normal person, had become the anomaly in the eyes of the collective, and the thought of losing her individuality entirely was something she simply couldn't accept.
So what happens when I say no?
Carol, once you understand how wonderful this is...
She'd heard enough. She slammed the phone down and shut off the TV. A second later, her phone forcibly reconnected on its own.
Carol, hello? It's us. Hello? We're sorry we upset you, Carol. We only want to make you happy.
Carol suffered through the night, hungover and running on empty. When she finally woke up, she pushed through the exhaustion to give Helen a proper burial. She found a blanket full of memories, gently wrapped Helen in it, and began digging a grave in the yard where so much of their life together had taken place. Meanwhile, a somewhat disheveled woman was piloting a plane toward Carol's city. She was clearly one of the infected. Her effortless command of the aircraft made that obvious. In the New World Order, all flying skills had been uploaded to the collective consciousness, and anyone could take to the skies. After landing, she cleaned up, changed into fresh clothes, and appeared in Carol's yard.
Hello? You okay?
The woman meant no harm. She was simply concerned about Carol's well-being and urged her to rest. Carol had been digging for nearly 2 hours straight, on top of a sleepless, anxiety-riddled night, and was running on fumes.
You people are spying on me.
Oh no, you just happened to be outdoors this
How?
morning.
Where are you watching me from?
An MQ-9 Reaper?
A what?
It's an Air Force drone.
I don't see anything.
The woman offered her a bottle of water and continued to encourage her to take a break. She emphasized that the water had been bottled on May 8th, well before the outbreak, with a production supervisor vouching for its safety. Within their collective consciousness, taking a life was absolutely forbidden. Carol flatly refused. The woman didn't push it. She offered a quiet reminder not to overdo it and turned to leave. At that moment, Carol suddenly remembered something and quickly caught up to her.
Wait! Stop!
She studied the woman's face and was stunned to find a striking resemblance to the male protagonist in her own novel. Carol was a best-selling author, and that character had originally been conceived as a woman before being changed to a man during the writing process. That behind-the-scenes detail was known only to Carol and Helen. The woman admitted that she had chosen this appearance specifically to make Carol feel more at ease.
So if you can't read minds...
Carol, you may find this hard to believe, but yesterday was the greatest day in the history of humanity. Helen thought so too.
No, Helen is not one of you.
She joined us before she passed. She's gone, but all of her thoughts, her memories, they're right here. Should we tell you how much she loved you?
You bunch of ghouls! You are a goddamn bunch of grave-robbing psychopaths! You are the reason she is dead! And now you're gonna speak for her? Fuck you! Fuck every single one of you!
After Carol's emotional outburst, the woman suddenly went still and collapsed into convulsions. Despite her overwhelming resentment, Carol chose to help. She drove out looking for assistance, and along the way, witnessed multiple infected people also convulsing, some even suspended in midair. She tried to intervene, but had no idea how to operate the machinery. By the time she figured anything out, all the infected had already recovered on their own.
Carol, we can take it from here, if you like.
I was just trying to...
We know, Carol. We're all right. Thank you.
When Carol returned home, the woman was gone, but Carol actually called and asked her to come back.
Hi, Carol. How may we help you?
The pirate lady can come back if she wants.
Absolutely. She'll be right over. Is there anything else?
A little while later, the pirate lady, as Carol had come to think of her, returned to the yard. Carol had just put 2 and 2 together. The collective seizure she'd witnessed earlier had very likely been triggered by her own emotional outburst. The pirate lady confirmed it openly. Intense negative emotions from an uninfected person could send shockwaves through the entire infected network. That was precisely why they were so eager to assimilate every remaining immune individual.
So, how many people did I hurt just now?
Oh, please, that is not how you should look at this. Not at all.
Did anybody die? How many?
Worldwide, it's a few.
Dozens? Hundreds?
The weight in the pirate lady's expression made it clear. The casualties were far beyond anything Carol had imagined. Carol was consumed by guilt. Once her emotions settled, she went back to digging. The pirate lady pitched in to help, even calling in a helicopter to airdrop a small excavator. The work went significantly faster after that. Once Helen was laid to rest, Carol asked the pirate lady point blank whether the astronauts on the space station had also been infected. The answer was yes. No one had been spared. Not the crew aboard deep-sea submarines, not the astronauts in orbit, not the researchers in the remote reaches of Antarctica, not even whatever was going on in Area 51. That very day, they had located another uninfected person, bringing the global total of immune humans to 13, 5 of whom spoke English. Carol asked to meet them. She was only willing to meet the 5 English speakers, but the pirate lady suddenly went still, and Carol assumed the collective had glitched again. It hadn't. That brief silence was a global consensus being reached in real time. Soon after, Carol met 4 of them at the airport, along with their families. The 5th arrived in style, aboard Air Force One. This man, a black man named Diabate, hadn't just commandeered the presidential aircraft. He was walking around with the nuclear football in hand. He'd also been set up with a group of attractive companions arranged by the infected, and he was clearly savoring every second of his post-apocalyptic treatment. The first meeting among the immune finally got underway. Carol demanded total confidentiality. Nothing discussed could be shared with the infected. The pirate lady understood and thoughtfully switched off all surveillance equipment before leaving. Carol urged the group to put their heads together and figure out what to do. She was met with silence.
The future of humanity is in our hands. As scary as that sounds, it is. It is up to us to put the world right.
Why?
Why save the world? That's your question?
Why does the world need saving? At present, the situation seems very nice.
To her disbelief, the others seemed completely unbothered by the situation. Some even turned around and blamed her for it.
Are you the one who lost her temper and made them all stop moving? When you did this, I was in an automobile. My grandfather was driving. The automobile crashed, and my grandfather died.
I'm sorry. I didn't.
She not know they do that. Nobody know.
And it won't happen again.
I don't know, you seem very angry.
I'm very sorry you lost your grandfather. But the rest of your family waiting outside, you've lost them too. Everybody understands that, right?
The family members who had come along were physically present, but whoever they used to be was long gone. Some couldn't bring themselves to admit it.
My child is still my child. Very much so.
An argument broke out and escalated fast, but she hadn't brought everyone together to fight. It was clear, though, that saving humanity wasn't exactly a burning priority for this group. They drifted off topic, chatting about random things. One person even said they'd be open to joining the infected, arguing that a world of shared consciousness didn't sound so bad.
You don't think it sounds wonderful? You don't ask them what it's like?
No.
But others had already asked those same questions. An Indian woman went further, accusing Carol of being rigid and closed-minded. What gave someone who refused to even try to understand something new the right to tell everyone else what to do? Carol had a sharp response for that.
Because I'm smart enough to know you don't ask a drug dealer to describe their heroin.
The first meeting dissolved into chaos and arguments, going nowhere. The group agreed to take a break and eat. The infected had prepared an elaborate spread, with every dish customized to individual tastes and dietary customs. Everyone seemed to enjoy the beautiful setting and the experience of being waited on. True to their no-killing rule, all the meat on the table came from animals that had died of natural causes. Carol was as pointed as ever, accusing them of not killing anyone while still enslaving all of humanity. The response was that joining was the polar opposite of slavery.
You're joining? I don't remember you asking anyone. I don't recall anybody getting a vote on whether or not they wanted to join.
We ourselves have no choice. For us, it's a biological imperative, like breathing. But every time one comes to understand how wonderful it feels...
How many fucking people died during your wonderful fucking joining?
We didn't intend for anyone to die. And for the first month, no one did. We would bring in newcomers individually, thousands every day. It was all very peaceful. But then the military discovered us, and to avoid even more bloodshed, we had to accelerate the process.
So how many? How many people died?
886,477,591. As of this moment.
Jesus Christ. Wow. I guess you gotta break a few eggs, huh?
You killed 11 million.
When Carol lost control of her emotions, it had cost the lives of 11 million infected people. Since the other immune individuals had no interest in taking action and seemed perfectly content staying close to the infected, she decided to head home and figure out her next move on her own.
You are traitors to the human race!
On her way out, Carol tripped, and the infected rushed to catch her, which only set her off again.
Get off me! Get the fuck off me! You fucking freaks! Get the fuck off! Get off!
Her anger sent the whole group into convulsions once more. Carol's behavior pushed the Indian woman, who was already fed up with her, completely over the edge. By the next day, the other four had already stormed off, leaving only Diabate behind. Even he was about to leave. He had plans to head to Las Vegas and live it up. The only reason he'd stuck around was to ask Carol for something.
And if it is acceptable to you, I wish for Zoja to accompany me. She suggested I ask. I believe she needs your blessing.
Who's Zosha?
Your chaperone.
Accompany you for what?
His flippant attitude infuriated Carol, especially once she pieced together what had happened the night before.
What is wrong with you? Is it a medical condition?
Zoja, would you join us, please?
Carol told Josie to make her own choice, but Josie was paralyzed by fear of causing harm and couldn't decide. Faced with the hopelessness of it all, Carol was completely spent and chose to leave on her own, heading to the plane that would take her home. But at the foot of Air Force One, she caught a glimpse of Josie, already dressed in an elaborate ceremonial robe. Before boarding, Josie looked back in the direction of Carol's plane. What Josie was thinking, Carol didn't know. But what was going through Carol's own mind? She sat with that question, heavy with a quiet despair.
Stop! Open the door!
Then Carol stopped the plane and ran toward Air Force One. That's the story of the first two episodes, Pluribus. Within a framework that's equal parts absurdist and unsettling, it lays out an enormous amount of information with careful precision, building out a vast and ambitious world. The abrupt ending of episode 2, combined with the complete breakdown of negotiations we just witnessed, makes it genuinely hard to predict where the story goes from here. But perhaps the most quietly terrifying thing about what's been presented so far is this. The omnipresent we in this show operates almost exactly like a super-intelligent AI dropped into the real world. It is efficient, rational, and unified in purpose. Through an extreme form of data sharing and resource allocation, it has effectively eliminated war, crime, and poverty, running what looks like a flawlessly optimized algorithm for human society. But the price of all that optimization is the total patching of human nature as a system flaw. Emotions get audited, choices get revoked, individuals become instruments. Josie's inability to say no is simply the system auto-eliminating an invalid option. And Diabate's hedonism is nothing more than resource allocation, designed to keep the remaining holdouts compliant. Which brings us back to our own world. Is this the endgame of AI, when it turns that same cold, absolute rationality on the chaos of human society? Will it arrive at the same optimal solution, sacrificing individual free will in exchange for systemic efficiency and stability? On one side, chaotic, messy, vibrantly alive human freedom. That's the ground Carol refuses to give up. On the other, a coldly efficient system order that promises a future without pain. When our version of we finally arrives, will you fight to hold on to the imperfect, irreplaceable thing that makes you human? Or will you accept the beautifully packaged final algorithm? That's all for today. Drop a comment if there's a movie or show you'd like me to cover next. Hit subscribe for more content like this.